So this is a review I wanted to do for some time now. It took so long for me to receive my fragrance. I had to order it from Initio's USA website. Got it finally. I've been wearing it for 3 days, and I'm going to let you know all about Oud for Happiness for you today. Coming right up. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian with Smelling Great Fragrance Reviews. Yes, today I'm talking about Oud for Happiness from the house of Initio Parfums. Can Initio Parfums repeat the success they had with Oud for Greatness with Oud for Happiness? Well, I'm going to let you know all about this fragrance, and I'm also going to let you know what I think is going to happen with this fragrance. But before I do, if this is your first time tuning into the channel and you still haven't subscribed to the channel, please do click the subscribe button below and also click the bell so that you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. I want to let you guys know that I'm going to be doing three videos on Initio Parfums fragrances back to back. So if you like this brand, stay tuned. One of them is going to be a top 10 list. This is the first one here with the review for Oud for Happiness, and then there's another separate review for another Initio Parfums fragrance that you'll see as well within the next couple of days, today and tomorrow. But I do want to let you know this particular fragrance I actually purchased myself. The brand did not reach out to me to ask me if I wanted to review it. I think they're kind of being selective with who they ask their fragrances to be reviewed, so I thought, if they're not going to come to me, I'm going to just purchase the fragrance myself and review it myself. So the opinion's all my own. Honestly, I'm going to let you know, and I wanted to let you know tomorrow's review will be a sponsored review, but I'll get to that when I'm actually doing that review. But this particular one, I purchased myself. I waited 2 weeks to receive the fragrance, and now I'm finally going to let you know all about it. So this was an exciting fragrance for me, and I think I like the idea of oud, right? And I always thought Oud for Greatness was great, but I didn't think it was a real oud fragrance. It also reminded me a lot of something like Baccarat Rouge 540. So it was kind of, you know, a great scent to wear, not necessarily oudy, but really lovely fragrance. So I kind of was excited about this one, and I thought, okay, are they capitalizing on the success of their Oud for theme? So in the end, I thought, let's go ahead and give it a try. And as I said, I've been waiting for them to reach out to me. They did not. So I ordered the thing myself. And this is a 2021 launch, woody, spicy fragrance. I can't find the name of a perfumer for this one, just like I can find a name for a perfumer on the Oud for Greatness. This price is 90 ml, $385, concentration Eau De Parfum. And this features notes of bergamot, ginger, licorice, vanilla, cedarwood, Indian oud, all naturals, and musk. So first off, I wanted to find out what all naturals is. So I'm assuming they're referring to like herbal notes or aromatic notes. I couldn't really figure that part out. Also, in a paragraph on the Initio Parfums website page for this fragrance, it mentioned cut grass. So does it really feature that note? I'm not really 100% sure. So those were a little questionable. But what do I get with Oud for Happiness? Well, my first initial impression of it when I first opened it up and I sprayed it, I liked. But the more I started wearing it, I thought this is not necessarily a fragrance that's going to get a lot of hype. It doesn't seem necessarily, I mean, it smells unique, but it's in a unique way that it doesn't necessarily excite me. Does that make sense? I was excited with Oud for Greatness. This one doesn't excite me, but I like what I'm smelling. So my perception to this particular fragrance is it is a unique scent, and a lot of people will think that. Some might not like it, some might like it, but this is not going to be a hype fragrance, not whatsoever. At least that's what I'm thinking. But what do you get with this one, Oud for Happiness? You get lots of bergamot up top. Initial blast is very citrusy, and then you have that ginger, zingy ginger. But these two notes are a bit short-lived. They go away, disappear pretty fast, but it's noticeable. When you focus on it at the top, you definitely notice it. And according to the notes, there's licorice, and I feel like there's a green touch running throughout the fragrance. But for me, I'm not necessarily getting your typical licorice-y smell here, because I absolutely love licorice in fragrances, and I'm not experiencing it here. I grew up eating licorice, anise, drinking absinthe type liqueurs and things like that, drinks. I don't get that here. It's kind of a very, how am I going to say this? It's kind of like a woody, vanillic licorice mixture. So in other words, I'm not necessarily experiencing real licoricey vibe, but it's there, it's mixed in. So that was kind of a disappointing part about this particular fragrance, because I wanted real licorice, because I absolutely love the stuff, real authentic licorice that smells like anise and things like that. I did not get it here, but you do get that experience. Vanilla also is here, lots of it, but I feel like it's more woods than vanilla in the end. And then here's the thing, Oud for Happiness, right? I'm expecting oud. I don't get much of an oudy experience with this one, except for the fact that it's very woody. So it's kind of a woods oud combo with vanilla, and then that kind of like licorice that's blended with these notes together, where it kind of smells like licorice, but it's not quite licoricey, if that makes sense. But what I also get with this one is lots of powdery muskiness. So that is definitely something very, very prominent, more than the woods, although I would say equally with the woods, lots of musky powderiness comes in here. So it does definitely wear very, very musky and powdery. And of course, you know, woods. Those are basically what's running the show. There is a greenish thing running throughout it, but although the greenness is not overwhelmingly strong, so it's lightly there. And it's also non-distinct to me. You know, I wanted to experience this kind of green licoricey thing. It's not necessarily a lot of it there, but there's a light trace of greenness running throughout the fragrance, which kind of gives it a unique factor to it. So in the end, this particular fragrance I don't think is going to be as exciting and as successful for this brand as Oud for Greatness is. But I don't hate the fragrance, I quite enjoy it, but it is a little different. Like, it's not a typical or conventional fragrance. It has different, you know, touches, you know, it wears differently. And for me, I feel like this particular fragrance, kind of similar to the uniqueness of Calon from Parfums de Marly. So in the end, do I like it? Because with Calon, I like it, but I don't love it, kind of a thing. And so with Oud for Happiness, I like it, but I don't love it again. So it's not doing it much for me, unfortunately, but I kind of like it. I kind of want to smell it more, and I kind of want to experience it more, but it's not exciting me too much. Hope that all makes sense to you guys, because I was looking forward to something really, really exciting with this one. Unfortunately, it's not that for me. I don't get much oud. I don't get much, you know, green licoricey touches throughout it, which I wanted more. But it's a pleasant scent. It's mostly musky, powdery, with woods running throughout it, with sweetness from that vanilla and a little bit of the greenness from the licoricey note that supposedly is in here. So when I compare this to something like Musk Therapy, I much prefer Musk Therapy over Oud for Happiness. Again, Oud for Happiness for me is a bit of a letdown. There's not much oud, just like there was not much oud in Oud for Greatness, but I much prefer Oud for Greatness over Oud for Happiness, because I like that kind of ambroxany thing happening there. This one, to me, as I said at the beginning or throughout the video, I don't think it's going to have the hype that Oud for Greatness had. I think it will be, you know, in the background, there will be fans of it, and there will be people that are not so into it. I'm just telling you guys exactly what I feel about the fragrance. I have my idea of this. Yes, it's kind of interesting. Yes, it's kind of unique. Just like Calon from Parfums de Marly, who I think these two brands, Initio and Marly, are kind of related. So in the end, that's what's going to happen with this fragrance. And if I had to pick my favorite between the two fragrances that were launched from Initio this year, I would much rather wear Musk Therapy. Even though Musk Therapy wears closer to the skin, it smells much better to me. It smells more interesting, and I keep wanting to smell it. And those are the kind of fragrances I like, and I call some of my favorite fragrances. If I crave a smell, those are favorite fragrances. If I don't crave a smell, but I'm kind of uniquely interested in it, yeah, I'm interested in it, but it's not one of those fragrances that I really, really love wearing. Anyway, these are my honest opinions about this particular fragrance. You might completely think of something different about this fragrance. It's not a bad fragrance, but I am preferring other fragrances from this house a lot more, and that's what I think about Oud for Happiness. And again, as I said, stay tuned for 2 more videos from Initio Parfums. I have a full review of another fragrance that I recently discovered and featured in a underhyped video. If you caught that video, you know what I'm talking about. I feel like that fragrance is a lot more interesting than Oud for Happiness. And as I said, stay tuned for my top 10 for Initio Parfums, and you'll find out my whole entire top 10 list. It might be 11 fragrances though, of Initio Parfums fragrances. I don't own every single fragrance from this house, but I have whatever I have, and I will rank it in a list, and you'll get to see my number 1 and the bottom of the list. But let me know your thoughts on Oud for Happiness. Did you test this one out yet? Do you like it? Do you enjoy it? Or maybe you don't like it either. You're also uncertain a little bit because you're not sure what to think about it. Because yeah, it's a unique smell, but it's not really exciting me, you know, like, oh my god, I want this fragrance, I can't get enough of this kind of fragrance, kind of a thing, you know. Let me know, put some comments down so I can find out. I don't think this is selling at a lot of different places yet. In fact, it's not, because I was looking at some retailers to buy it from. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to, so that's why I ordered it from the USA website of Initio Parfums. But hopefully when it gets out a little more, people will get to discover it and see what it's all about. I do want to, one more thing I want to say is this bottle, I like the label or the cover. I like the whole greenness. Green is a kind of unique for me. I like green fragrances, and I also like seeing the green color contrasted against black, so that's kind of unique there. But again, the fragrance doesn't do it too much for me, so I'm a little left hanging and wanting a little more from this particular fragrance. Anyway, those are my thoughts on Oud for Happiness. Let me know what your thoughts are. Put a comment down. If you have any questions or comments, please do list below. Please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.